Good evening, YouTube. I am Kyle Nakray. I've gotten a couple of questions lately about how I project to both TikTok and on Twitch and have kind of the same image on both locations. And so I was going to do a little tutorial video on how we do that. So first things first, you're going to see we're in our OBS setup. That's why we've got this whole echo thing going on because I'm recording the window that I am using to record the window. So with that, the very first thing we're going to look at is, again, I want to state that my setup might look a little different than yours. You might have stuff over here or over here. I don't know how your setup looks like, but we're going to be looking for the controls section. We're going to come down here to right next to Start Virtual Camera. We're going to hit on this gear. Now, I don't know what the actual default is on these settings, but you want Program Default to be selected. You might have Scene selected, and if that's the case, you're going to want to select your specific scene that you're going to use, and I'll get into that in a moment. But for now, we're going to use Program Default. I'm going to hit OK, and that has set the virtual camera to default. So, I'll explain all that in a moment. We're going to bounce over to TikTok. So this is your TikTok Live Studio. If you don't know how to create a scene in TikTok Live Studio, you're going to find your scenes section. You're going to hit add scene. You're going to select blank because we only need one thing in this scene, and we're going to add it. Now you got a blank scene. Now, I already had a blank scene, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. So, we got a brand new blank scene. I don't have any sources in it, so we're going to select Add Source. We're going to select the camera. We're going to add. From here, there's a couple things you want to make note of. One, whenever you project from OBS onto TikTok Studio, the image is going to be flipped, and I'll show you that here in a moment. So you're actually going to want to toggle the flip because it's going to flip it all the way back so that it looks exactly like your OBS. Next thing you want to make sure you have is your resolution to your screen. So your monitor's resolution, you want to make sure that's matching your actual monitor. And then the last thing we want is you're going to select the camera. This is my normal video camera. This is the one you want here, OBS Virtual Camera. And it has this little image here. Looks like it's having an error, but it's not. I'll explain why in a moment. So now we have this in here. We're going to right click it. I'm going to fill screen. It's going to take a second. It's going to render all that beautiful stuff. Perfect. So now we have this big blue weird box here. I'm going to swing back over to OBS. And whenever I click this button, it's going to transmit everything that OBS is seeing all the way over to TikTok. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to TikTok, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So now I'm going to press the Start Virtual Camera button. Boom. This is exactly what we're seeing over on OBS. It's an exact replica, and you can, everything is copied back to back. So if I can switch between OBS and TikTok, it's exactly the same. Wonderful. Now we got that working. I want to show you one other thing. If you look here, I have this little pirate image thing. So if I can toggle between that, and it works over here on OBS. We'll switch over to TikTok. I can toggle it here, and it works on both OBS and TikTok. Okay, now let's do a quick run through of exactly how all that worked. We're going to actually delete our camera. Quick run again. We made our scene. We've got our sources. We're going to select Add Source. We're going to select Camera, Add. From here, we're selecting our OBS Virtual Camera. And if you see here, with our virtual camera turned on OBS, it's going to project it here. And you see that it's reversed from what we normally see. We're going to hit flip, and now we see everything exactly how it should be. So if I turn my head, it turns my head. Beautiful. Add source, and we fill to screen. So projecting everything works out great. If we pop over to OBS, let's say we went to change scenes. So here's my scenes down here. Well, let's say I want to switch to my TikTok scene. Well, I just switched to my TikTok scene over on OBS, but it may not necessarily switch on over on TikTok. If you're having that issue, it's because you've made a change in this little buddy here. So you remember how we set this to default? If you have it set to scene, it's only going to select that one scene. It's only going to follow that one scene. So for instance, I have YouTube tutorial selected. If I choose TikTok as the selected, then what is going to project over to my TikTok scene is just my TikTok scene. So over on TikTok, we've got my scene that I've selected. But over on OBS, we're still looking at this. If you're having that issue, that's what your problem is. You gotta come over here. You gotta switch this from scene to default, program default. Because then anything that you change on OBS, so if you select a different scene, so I've got like my channel point scene, my TikTok scene, it's going to change it on TikTok. And I'll show you that here. We'll switch over to just TikTok. So I got my channel point scene, my YouTube tutorial, my TikTok scene. Changing that is where you're going to find your situation. So I think we've covered everything. We've projected from OBS to TikTok. The other thing you're going to have to do with TikTok is you're going to have to add your audios individually. So I've got like my mic, I've got my media player, I've got my game Wonderlands, I've got like a Windows thing or whatever. You're going to have to add your audios individually because there's not really a good way to project the audio from OBS to TikTok, at least as far as I've found. But you can quick mute. You can mute all your audios here. Well, all except for your mic. And you can quick mute your mic audio here. Can't hear me, can't hear me. So you couldn't hear me there. But yeah, so. I think that pretty much covers everything we needed to. If you have further questions, be sure to let me know down in the comments and such. And hopefully this tutorial is helpful and wonderful and all of that wonderful stuff. I do stream live just about daily over on TikTok and on Twitch at Kyle Knockray. So make sure you come check me out if you enjoyed this. And I'll see you all next time. Farewell.